Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. I'd like to call this special town meeting to order for January 29th, 2024. It is 7:08 p.m. I'd like to begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I believe that the voter registrars, they're all here registered voters. Are there any unregistered voters here? Okay. If you're unregistered, would you mind watching? It's only you, right? Yeah. You stay put. That way I know where you are. So you can stay in here. We usually have everybody move to one side, registered and unregistered. Can the town clerk please read the call?
Warning, notice of the special town meeting of the town of Bethel, Connecticut. The legal voters of the town of Bethel, Connecticut, and those persons entitled to vote therein are notified to assemble at a special town meeting to be held in the Clifford J. Herndon Municipal Center, General Purpose Room, 1 School Street, Bethel, Connecticut, 06801, on Monday, January 29, 2024, at 7 p.m. for the following purpose to wit. Number 1, to consider and take action upon a recommendation by the Bethel Board of Selectmen and approved by the Bethel Board of Finance that the town of Bethel fund a special appropriation supplemental to that provided in the annual Parks and Recreation budget in the amount of $319,000. Said funding shall be allocated as additional budgeted revenue sources or other funding sources as recommended by the town of Bethel Comptroller. Number 2, to take any and all action legally necessary or appropriate to accomplish the above intended results. Dated in Bethel, Connecticut, this 18th day of January 2024. Board of Selectmen: Daniel E. Carter, First Selectman; Richard C. Straighten, Selectman; Brian Terzian, Selectman.
Thank you. May I have a motion to accept the call? A second?
Who was that?
I believe that was Nick Ellis made the motion, seconded by John Lennon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? See none, motion passes. Next order of business is to elect a moderator. So the floor is open for nominations.
I nominate Dan Carter to be the moderator.
Is there a second? Okay.
Who was seconded?
Any other nomination?
I make a motion, we close nominations.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have to actually move to elect Dan. I need a motion to elect Dan Carter as the moderator.
I make a motion to elect Dan Carter as moderator for this next meeting.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so if the town council can please read the resolution.
Shall the town of Bethel, pursuant to the charter of the town of Bethel, as requested by the Parks and Recreation Commission, recommended by the Bethel Board of Selectmen, and approved by the Bethel Board of Finance, fund a special appropriation supplemental to that provided in the annual Parks and Recreation budget in the amount of $319,000 to be allocated from additional budget revenue sources or other funding sources as recommended by the town of Bethel Comptroller.
I'd like a motion to accept the resolution.
So moved.
And we have a second.
Second.
That's Leslie?
Yep.
Okay, so now we can have a discussion on the resolution. Brad, would you like to give a quick overview?
Sure. So in the 2023 budget year, the Park and Rec budget went over budget by $372,000. In that budget year, we were able to make up for that overage with coming in under in other accounts to not exceed our budgeted budget. But what that did is it made us really look into what was driving that, how do we stop that from happening in the future? And one of the big things that Rachel, the director of Park and Rec, and the commission noticed is 2023 fiscal year and 2024 fiscal year were not budgeted properly. So then the commission, along with the director, went through the 24 budget versus what the projected spend was, and noticed a shortfall of $319,000. So what we're here tonight is to fix that, because if the boards didn't approve it and then the town meeting doesn't approve it, then Park and Rec would have to make massive cuts for the rest of the fiscal year, which runs through June 30th, to not exceed their budget. So they came up with a $319,000 amount, and then I looked at how we could fund that and recommended to the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen that they are anticipating excess revenue to the tune of $190,000 of that $319,000 shortfall in expenses. And in the interest account, we budgeted $450,000. At that time, we'd already received $660,000 in interest for this fiscal year. So I was comfortable moving the interest amount up to $579,000, which is a $129,000 increase, to complete the transaction of $319,000 up in expenses, $319,000 in revenue, so that we didn't have to use fund balance or any other revenue sources to accomplish this increase to the Park and Rec budget.
Excellent. It's also worth kind of giving a quick overview before we actually, anything from the audience. The way that it happens in process is requested by the Park and Rec Commission. It's approved by the Board of Selectmen, and then it went to the Board of Finance. When we were looking at the actual breakdown of the $319,000, $50,000 of that was for salaries. One of the things that I think obviously hit us all in this world is the increase in minimum wage. And of course, we have more people than ever doing the program, which brings us to the program part of the budget that was up another $235,000. One of the things that's interesting about the Park and Recreation budget is each year, sometimes we create more programs a year, or more programs become expensive. But then we also offset that many times with revenue. As most folks know, the Park and Recreation program is pretty essential for what we do in the community. The last piece of this, there was an increase in maintenance and supplies, also due to programs of $34,000. So that's what made that $319,000. Again, it came from the Park and Rec Commission to the Board of Selectmen and then to the Board of Finance. So that's what brings it before the town meeting today.
I just want to point one other thing that I should have mentioned when I was talking about 2023. In that fiscal year, the budgeted revenue for Park and Rec was $620,000, and they brought in $848,000. So they exceeded their revenue projections by $228,000. I mentioned the expense part. I also want to mention they also brought in more revenue than was budgeted. But they are in separate. You got to think about them in separate buckets. So even though they exceeded exceeding the revenue did not. It helped on the bottom line, but budget-wise, it did not help. It creates a budget.
Okay, so I'll open it up to the floor. Do you have any questions, any comments? Thoughts? Yes, sir. Please come up with your name and your address.
Hi, my name's Daniel LeBrecq, and I live at 94 Nashville Road. I just want to be clear. I don't know if this is on or not, if it needs to be on because I'm pretty loud. I just want to make sure you said this is through June 30. Is that the budget year? Okay. So it doesn't affect summer camp in July?
Correct. And the budget that they're putting together now for next fiscal year will cover most of summer camp. There are some expenses that occur in June for this fiscal year for camp, and this would take care of that. Also.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. LeBrecq, could you spell your last name for me?
Sure. It's L-A-B as in boy, R-E-C-Q-U-E.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I'll also read the record. We did have one email of support. It came from Kristen and Mike Flynn at 64 Ridgedale Road. Again, it's basically talking about how they're parents of young children and they support this because of what Parks and Rec does in the community. We don't always read the whole letter into the record. The town clerk has it. Any other questions, comments, anything before we start to wrap up? Couple more years. All right. With that, I will try your minds. All in favor, all in favor of the motion as presented? You can say it like that. Do I not read it, do I? Okay. All in favor of the motion as presented by the town attorney? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it looks like the motion carries. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We can't adjourn. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Oh,